You follow up, I call it a sandwich strategy, and this is very important. This is where most people ask me a lot of questions. They said, nobody returns my calls. After I send the letter, how do I get to follow up? Because I don't know what to do. So this is what has worked for me. So what I tell my clients to do is, if it's an A job, send your cover letter and your resume at least 2 levels above the hiring manager by a traceable means, such as FedEx or priority mail or something. In the United States, there is a tracking, 45-cent tracking label you can buy. And even if you send a first-class letter, you can track it. So it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. And so once you know the letter is delivered to the person, either that afternoon or the next morning, you send that person an email with the PDF of what you sent attached to the email, and say that I have sent you a letter by FedEx or whatever, and I've received confirmation that you've received it, but save you trouble, I'm attaching the PDF so that you can quickly look at it. That's the second email you send. The first email you send, but the second message you send to the hiring manager. And then in that message you say that if I do not hear from you, I plan to call you in a day. So he's not going to call you. I can guarantee you that. So because you said you're going to call him, now the next day you call him and you will get their voicemail 99% of the time. Now in the voicemail you say that I'm the one who sent you the FedEx and the email yesterday. And as I said, I'm leaving this message to connect with you. I'm also going to send you another email. Now listen to this very carefully. Immediately after I finish talking to you in this voicemail, and it will be more convenient, maybe more convenient for you to respond to my email. And immediately after you hang up, send them an email saying, I just left you a voicemail. That's what the email says. And I found, we just did this with the CEO last week with 2 different clients. And in each case, the CEO sent that email, not the FedEx letter, not the PDF, but the final email that you said you just left them a voicemail. She forwarded that email to the recruiter directly and said, I think you need to see what this person has to offer. And the recruiter called the client almost immediately. This is the power of this approach. Now, it's a lot of steps, but it works. And so if you're sitting there wondering why nobody calls you, you need to kind of follow this strategy and look at the sequence here. It's totally ironclad. I'm not saying it's 100%, but the chances go from 1% or less to about 80 to 90% of you're getting a call because of what you've just done. Anything more than what I just told you will tantamount to stalking. So stop just short of stalking is what I'm telling you. Ramp up your campaign momentum. You need to kind of build up to 135, and you need to get there within 3 to 4 weeks. And the other thing is you need to manage your pipeline so that at any given time you have 3 or 4 offers, and this is what I do with my clients. So you can leverage the offers by saying, you know, I already have this. This is what I'm looking for. If you can give me this, this is what I can do for you. And it's amazing how well that works. And even in this economy, and I'll give you just a couple examples because I think we're running out of time here. Even when a client of mine got an offer, and during the offer she was told that this is not negotiable, this is the package we want to offer you. If you're not interested in taking what we're giving you, we can't negotiate this. This is what the recruiter told her. And she came to me and said, Dilip, what do I do? I'm $32,000 short from what I currently make for overall package-wise, not just the base, but overall package, stock options, bonus, and everything else. So I said, we're going to negotiate this. And we did negotiate. This is just about a month and a half ago, so it was in a deep downturn time. It is not like when times are good. This is about a month and a half ago. And with 2 rounds of negotiation, they matched the $32,000. And we figured out the value proposition by which to do it. So always focusing on value proposition helps. And she was able to get exactly where she left and make up the $32,000 with 2 rounds of negotiation, which took about an hour. So it's always worth negotiating. And to have multiple offers helps you in that leverage. It's very important. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Managing your career, always negotiate an offer. I just told you that. Focus on value and responsibilities, not on salary and title. This is a favorite of mine, where everybody says, I want a director title. I want $150,000. I want so much money. I want this. And this is where they shortchange themselves. But so instead of focusing on salary and title, if you say, this is the value I bring, this is exactly what we did with the person I just told you about, $32,000 short. But I don't care what the title is. This is what I can do for you. And once you scope out the responsibilities and how you create value under those responsibilities, then the title falls out of organizational policies. Nobody can have 10 reports unless they are a director. But you're not saying, I want a director position. You say, this is what I plan to do. This is what the resources are I need. And this is the value I'll create for you. And once you convince them on the value creation and the responsibilities that you can discharge, title and salary fall out of it, which is a much more compelling argument than saying, I will not join unless you give me a director title, and I will not join unless you give me so much money. That never works, because it's untenable. They don't know what to anchor it to. But when you specify your value and responsibilities, you can quickly monetize that translate into salaries. Start your job with a 100-day plan, always an important step, and I told you that early on. Partner with your boss, don't fight with your boss, and preemptively manage your resume. Before you take on a task, write the bullet, what you want it to look like, and then execute that. And if there are any gaps between what you thought would happen and what actually happened, you can make an adjustment. But to have this vision before you take on major tasks actually allows you to preemptively manage your resume, which is what this is about. So it's about tomorrow. It's not about yesterday. Okay, let's go on to the next one. This is a typical blueprint that I draw for my clients, and this is a typical 32-year-old male in the Silicon Valley, and he was a team lead, and he wanted to become a vice president in about 13 years of a major company, Fortune 50 company or so. And so we drew this map for him in a functional area, and we ended up with 4 steps. And each step, going from 0 to 1, we outlined what development areas that he needs to focus on specifically. Going from 1 to 2, what development areas he needs to focus on. And you will see that 1 to 2 is the longest transition. And this is what I said earlier, early on in the conversation, that director-level positions to reach there takes the longest. From manager to director or senior manager to director is the longest run that most people experience in time span. It's because unless they see you with gravitas, I call it, executive image, and making contribution, it's much harder to become a director. And it's not so much about the looks as the message you project as a leader that gets you in the mindset of executives to be seen as a director. And there's a lot of coaching I do around that. But each of the 1, 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 steps require a certain development area, and I identify those clearly for clients. So the point I want to make to you is this, that don't just sit there waiting that you'll be director or manager, this and that. You need to draw this plan and get this plan vetted so that you know exactly what the company is looking for. You know exactly how to deliver it preemptively. And drawing this kind of a map and having this kind of a vision goes a long way in your ability to manage the career. Layoffs or not, it doesn't matter. Economic downturns or not, it doesn't matter. You can, using the principles I told you earlier, you can always stay on track by having this in front of you. Let's go to the next one. So we are at the end of it. I don't know the questions are there or not. Chenny was going to tell me questions at the end. And so I want to thank you for listening to what I have to say. And I have 2 contacts. I have 2 websites. Both of them are on this deck. The front page has one, and each footer has one. So if